బడ్జెట్ ఇవన్నీ శాంక్షన్ అయితేనే కదా సార్ మీరు ముందుకెళ్ళేది.
Hello, Ravi. Ravi. Ravi.
సార్
మీరు వెల్కమ్ చేయండి. మోడరేటర్ శైలి కుమార్. Manjula, please let me know her spell.
I'll let you know. It's Shivli Kumar.
Shivli Kumar.
Shivli. Shewli. Shivli.
Ravi, we know,
You can rhyme it with Chew.
Okay.
So that is
మీరు
easier.
వెల్కమ్ చేయండి. వెల్కమ్ చేసిన తర్వాత Shivli Kumar will introduce the Manjula Pradeep garu. Then lecture will continue.
Okay.
Ravi,
can we start, sir?
Please start. Please.
So welcome to 39th lecture, all of you. So good evening once again. Today we have the topic understanding the parallels between UDHR and the Indian Constitution. Today's speaker is Ms. Manjula Pradeep, founder and the chairperson of Vice Act of Youth Vision and Engagement, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So today we have a session moderator, Shivli Kumar. So welcome, madam. Welcome once
Thank
again
you.
on behalf of CDS and other organizations. So I hand over to Shivli, madam. Madam, take it. You can continue the meeting.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here to be able to introduce Manjula Pradeep, who I know for long years. And it's really my honor to introduce her this time in this particular session. As all of you know that Manjula, hopefully, you know that Manjula is a human rights activist and has been working for the rights of the marginalized communities, in particular Dalits, Muslims, and now even the Adivasis, for more than 2.5 decades in India. She has a long innings and very firm believer in the rights of the marginalized. So that's something that's been commendable in her whole journey. She has a master's in social work from the MS University of Vadodara and a bachelor's in law from Gujarat University. So she has also been the former executive director of Rough Surgeon Trust, and that's the time that I think she laid the ground for the immense grassroots work that she began in Gujarat, and now it's almost across all the states in our country. So she took it up as a model, and now she has upscaled it to the other parts of the country. And we have a nice group of young activists who have been trained and to look at human rights violations, specifically of women, in most of the states of this country. She has also been a founder member for a WISE Act of Youth Visioning and Engagement, which is, I think, this organization was set up with a clear understanding that we need to tap into the young generation, and we really need to bring in that kind of agency that's so important for the youth group, which gets left out and which has its own ways of looking at discrimination and marginalization. So that's one of the reasons why this particular organization was set up. But you know that one very interesting facet of Manjula's work is that she has a huge bandwidth from the grassroots to the international forum. She has been part of the, constantly gone to represent at the UN levels all the challenges that the marginalized groups face within the country. She's represented our country I think several times in the human rights forums and also the European Parliament. And she's been obviously awarded several awards, one of them being the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace, which is a very significant award that has recognized the kind of work that she's been doing by the University of San Diego, which is what it's not enough to really encapsulate the work that Manjula is doing. It's very hard to actually explain the trajectory. But I will say one thing, that on the one hand, she's doing all this work from the grassroots to the international. So from grassroots to the national to the international level, she's leveraged a lot of human rights institutions in the country. She has tried to make forays into the National Human Rights Commission, make them do the work task that's grounded for her. But what is also very important as a person, she is one of the most empathetic and grounded in her knowledge, and she has not become one of those activists who become very arrogant about the human rights work that they do. She's very reachable. She's out there for anyone who has suffered or is having discrimination, facing discrimination or atrocity. She rushes out there. So that's the agency that she gets, and that's the knowledge that she gets, that how does human rights actually work in the ground, and how does the international instruments connect to the national instruments, and how does it actually bring about or not bring about a substantive justice to people from the marginalized group. So I think that's what she's going to discuss out here. And I'm really looking forward to listening to you, Manjula. And thank you for inviting me to introduce you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shivli Kumar, my great friend and a colleague and co-traveler. Thank you, Lakshmaya ji and Center for Dalit Studies for inviting me for this very important discussion, for which I will be making a small presentation. And I also welcome all the participants, all the activists and co-travelers and focusing on issues of human rights violations across the country. So I would also want people to also, after my presentation, give their own deliberations and discussions as well should go on when I am doing a comparative analysis of United Nations, the entire aspects of Universal Declaration of Human Rights vis-a-vis the Constitution of India. I just want to start by saying that for me, understanding of United Nations and the mechanisms started in around 2000, the year 2000, when we wanted to take up the issue of inclusion of caste within the UN framework. And we believe that caste is one of the oldest forms of historically oldest form of discriminated communities who are living in that framework of trying to survive with a very structural way of violence and also hate. And I think caste system in that sense is something which is historically the oldest form of discrimination in the world, in the globe. And it was being ignored until we addressed the issue in the United Nations since 2000. And when we had the World Conference Against Racism in 2001, I was one of the youngest members in that conference, representing the Dalit communities from South Asia, and mainly there were representatives from India. And I think Shivli was also very much part of that that entire delegation representing issues relating to caste-based injustice in not only in India, but I think across South Asia. So I have made a presentation. I made a PowerPoint presentation, which I would like to share. I will just use my, okay. I don't know why I'm not able to show it. Okay, 1 minute. Or can I share it to someone at CDS who can do this? I am not able to. 1 minute.
Hello, madam. You just open the
J-
share screen. That's it. That's it.
No,
Share
it's
screen.
closed. It is closed. It's showing closed.
Huh.
Just a
So,
minute.
so
Shall I share it with
Just-
you, sir?
Just check now. Check it now.
yeah, if you open it, then I think she can share it.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I'm not able. Let me share
Yeah.
it with you. If it is no, not a problem. 1 minute. I should have done it before that. Sorry for that.
No, it's fine. I think what has happened is that you're not enabled to share by.
No, my computer is my computer is making some issues. That's why I'm not able to.
I clicked on the share and it's showing. Oh, now it's open. Will you share now? Will you share now? I think it's open now.
I
Yeah.
shared it to him if he's ready to. I'm not sure if I can. 1 minute, I'll try my best.
Yeah.
1 minute. Technology.
You can continue. I will share.
But I can't see my. Okay. You can. Yeah, you have received it, na? Brother?
I'm
Hello?
checking the WhatsApp mail system. Just now I'll open this.
Yeah.
You continue. You continue.
Now can you all see? No. People can't see my presentation. Shivli? I can't see it.
No, I can't see your presentation.
मैंने उनको WhatsApp किया है. I've sent him on WhatsApp.
Do you want to send it to me? I think I can share it because it's showing my screen.
मैं आपको I'll
receive
show it. I don't know why
WhatsApp.
I'm not able.
Just
I
WhatsApp
didn't
it to
receive
me.
it. Actually,
Sure. Mine is saying open system settings. मेरा पता नहीं क्या आ रहा है.
Oh, you're using a particular. Never mind. Just send it to me. I'll just I'll go with the flow with you. That should be okay.
1 minute मैं try करती हूँ. Okay, मैं आपको भेजती हूँ. Because he's not able to see my presentation. Hello?
I'm here. I'm here. Just WhatsApp it to me, then I will kind of put it up. If that's okay.
21,000 है ना, so it's taking little time. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know.
It's not
You
coming
might
as
have not.
WhatsApp. I haven't received it. No.
नहीं मेरा तो अभी वो हो रहा है, अपलोड हो रहा है आपके लिए.
Oh, okay.
Friends who are there in the session, just
mine also downloaded.
patience. अच्छा, you downloaded it?
Then you can
Downloading.
show it.
Continuous.
It's downloading. It's
मैं आपको भेज रही हूँ शिवली.
sure.
Gone. देख लो आप.
आया नहीं है अभी भी.
Got it?
Nope. That we kind
भेज
of.
दिया मैंने.
Okay. Just give it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's come. Not come. Not arrived.
It's a big file, no? That's why.
That's why it's taking time to re-come also.
I don't know why mine is saying system settings. Okay.
Is your system compatible with Zoom? It should be, because you've been using this laptop.
आपको मिल गया?
नहीं, I haven't.
आ गया, जीमेल पे भेजा।
Oh, you sent it to the mail? Oh,
हाँ हाँ।
I was looking at the wrong place. I was looking at WhatsApp. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. Right. Yeah.
तो मैं तब तक शुरू कर देती हूँ। I think I will start.
You start talking and I will just put it up. Then
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
the presentation with you. It's a big
Yeah.
file, no? So it's kind of taking time.
I will start with the history, because a lot of people, I think all of us know about the history of drafting of the Indian Constitution. But we also have to understand how the United Nations came up and why it was set up, and why UDHR is so important and integral to the lives of people across the world. So that I would like to start with until the PPT is opening. So as we know that there was a World War I and World War II, and when the World War II was about to end in 1945, so many nations, especially in the Europe, I think, were in ruins, and the world wanted peace. So during that time, representatives of 50 countries gathered at the United Nations Conference on International Organization in San Francisco. So, which is in California, USA. This was between 25th April to 26th June 1945. After that, for the next 2 months, they proceeded to draft and then sign the UN Charter, which created a new international organization, which is called as the United Nations, which it was hoped would prevent another world war like the one they had just lived through. As we also understand that India was it was the time when India was going to get independence in 1947. So between 95 and 1947, so it was a gap of around 2 years, I think. Right. So 4 months after the San Francisco conference ended, the United Nations officially began on 24th October 1945. And when it came into existence, and a charter was ratified by specifically few countries, which were China, France, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, United States, and there were other major signatories. Okay. So the horrific events, as we know, World War II, what it brought was included Holocaust and widespread human rights violations. And it then the global call also demanded for a declaration of human rights. And if you understand that human rights as a framework is something which was also evolved because of what happened during that time. And if you see now also, there is gross human rights violations, not only in India, but across the globe. And as you see that there is a warlike situation in specific countries, and there are some countries are also going through war. So the Universal Declaration, which was brought up, was intended to complement the UN Charter, which focused on international peace and security by providing a framework for protecting individual rights and freedoms. So the UDHR, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, was the first document to define fundamental human rights applicable to everyone, regardless of their nationality, their gender, their religion, or any other status. The UDHR is considered the foundation of international human rights law and has inspired the development of numerous human rights treaties, which I'll explain a little later. You would be, I think many of you might be knowing, but it was certainly, I was equally amused with the fact that who was the chairperson of the drafting committee. As we know, for the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairperson, but for the UDHR, it was Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of the former US president. And the other people who were also involved in drafting the UDHR, like there was a person called René Cassin from France, Charles Malik from Lebanon, Pen Chung Chang, who was from China, who brought Confucian and Eastern perspectives. There was John Humphrey from Canada, who prepared the first draft. And there was a lady from India called Hansa Mehta. She is from Gujarat. I do know about her because she was a quite literary figure in Gujarat and also in the feminist movement. She advocated strongly for gender inclusive language because at one point, the as we know, many times we say all men are born free, but she stressed for saying that all human beings are born free. So, the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights took approximately 2 years from start to adoption. We also know how much time the Indian Constitution took. Most of us know about it, but I'll just say in brief. So, if you see UDHR, it started from January 1947 when the UN Commission on Human Rights was established, right? And began work on the draft. It was adopted on 10th December 1948 by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris. And as we know that 10th December is declared as International Human Rights Day. So the process took around 700 days, nearly 23 months, involving drafting committee sessions, consultations with member states, revisions and debates over language and interpretation. Many countries have adopted UDHR principles into their constitution laws. And that's what I would like to also bring in my presentation about how India's constitution's fundamental rights encompasses certain specific articles and rights which are given in the UDHR. And also the South Africa's post-apartheid constitution also includes a lot of UDHR principles in the constitution. Now, UDHR has shaped legal protections from equality, non-discrimination, freedom of speech, religion, and fair trial. Our own Indian constitution, as we all know, was adopted on November 26, 1949, but the date 26 January 1950 was not just chosen randomly. It was deliberately selected to mark the day where India declared its aim of achieving complete self-governance, which is called Purna Swaraj in 1930. This date represented the culmination of the Indian independence movement and the nation's transition into a sovereign republic. As we all know, who are the key contributors to the Indian Constitution? Dr. Ambedkar, the principal architect of the Indian Constitution, played a vital role, shaping provisions related to equality, social justice, and fundamental rights. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, president of the Constituent Assembly, oversaw the proceedings and final adoption of the Constitution. Jawaharlal Nehru proposed the objectives, resolution, laid the foundation principles of the Constitution. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, key contributor on federal structure and integration of princely states. Alladi Krishna Swamy Iyer, expert in constitutional law. K.M. Munshi is from Gujarat, influential in shaping fundamental rights and directive principles. Mr. B.N. Rao, constitutional advisor, he prepared the initial draft, which was refined by the drafting committee. So the start of drafting of Indian Constitution started from 9 December 1946. The first meeting, this was before independence, the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly was on 9 December 1946. The drafting committee was formed on 29 August 1947 and Dr. Ambedkar as chairperson. The draft was submitted on 26 November on 1949. Constitution was adopted, and as I say, it came into effect on 26 January 1950. So, in summary, how many days? 1,145 days. Number of sessions, 11 sessions, over 165 days of debate. Number of amendments to the draft, over 2,000. Now, I just want to tell you that India became a member of the United Nations on October 30th, 1945. Now, it was before the independence, after ratifying the UN Charter. India was one of the 50 original countries that signed the UN Charter on June 26, 1945. Shivli, can I see the slides now, if it's possible?
Oh, they are not opening.
Hello?
They're not opening. I
Oh,
tried with all kinds of, and then I gave up because it's just
other
not working
person,
out.
uh,
I don't know what to
okay,
do,
somebody from
Madam,
CDS.
it's asking the PDF file or Word file.
Sorry?
Not supporting PowerPoint. It's asking PDF file or Word file.
Yeah, if you make it a PDF, maybe it'll open, but it's not opening as a PPT.
I have
I
worked
don't know
hard
what the
to make.
I know. Can
I
you
will
just
tell you.
convert it
Okay.
into a PDF? Because I can't open it only. I thought I'll do that. But it's just not opening on
Can
my
you open,
laptop.
brother?
I will try to connect with it.
And I
Shivli,
don't
let
have
me
notes.
send you again. I'm feeling bad, yaar.
You know,
मैंने
no,
इतनी
they,
मेहनत की.
yeah, and it's important. I think a lot of factual information gets lost when you're speaking. So it'd be nice to have the PPT.
शिवली. मैं कोशिश करती हूँ आपको इसमें भेजने की on. I
Can you
don't know.
PDF
I'm
and send
feeling
it to
bad,
me?
yaar.
Can you save it as a PDF and then send it? Then maybe it'll open.
Oh.
As a PPT, it's not opening.
No, he can open it, no? He's not able to open it
No,
also.
even he is not able to open it. That's what I'm saying.
मैं तो
There's something wrong with the, what is it called? Compatibility with our computers. I don't know what the problem is.
Yes, ma'am. Got it. Okay.
There's a compatibility problem and nothing else. So if you just quickly PDF it and then send it, I think then it'll be easy to show.
I'll continue now because I'm getting frustrated because people will be also thinking that what am I doing?
No.
I
They
will try to
everybody.
send it, ma'am. I will try.
I'm not able to open, otherwise, so no problem. I don't know what the issue is. I think it's not very big also. It's just not opening.
Can I share with you on क्या कहते हैं उसको? The PPT on your computer, on your WhatsApp, you won't be able to do it. No?
No, the issue is not that. Issue is that as a PPT, it's not opening. So on your computer, if you just save it as a PDF and then send it, then I should be able to open it. So you just open the PPT, which is opening there, and you save it as PDF. And then just send it to me. Then I think you'll be able to open it quickly.
I'll try 1 minute.
Mm.
Are there people or they've left?
No, don't worry about people.
I'll
Everybody's here. You just do what you have to do.
See.
Yeah. More people are joining in also. So that's
Mm.
okay.
अच्छा. This we should have done before, no?
Yeah, we was waiting, no? That we could have done a trial.
No, I'm also sharing with you. And Helena, I'm trying to share it with you also. Can you see now, Shivli? I don't know if you can see it now. Send it to you also. I'm sharing it to both of you. I don't know why the network is an issue or what is an issue. Now can you see, Shivli? You must have received it. Oh, Helena has
Yeah.
received also.
I have received it.
Helena, can you open it, dear? Shivli, you have also received? Okay.
It's come now on the WhatsApp. I'm praying that it will open. It's opening on the WhatsApp.
Otherwise, I'll continue. Huh?
It's opening on the
Okay.
WhatsApp, but it's not opening with my PowerPoint. So
Okay,
shall
I'll
I
now continue.
shall I show it on the WhatsApp only? Oh, there's a PDF. You sent a PDF also. Oh, okay. Great. I think this should open up. Yes. Okay. Finally successful.
Is it?
The PDF is working. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, done. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's working. Just keep telling me next, and I'll shift it.
Sorry for हाँ ये पूरा उसमें नहीं आ रहा ना फर्स्ट वन ये पूरा नहीं आ रहा ना
आएगा,
मतलब
आएगा. Yeah,
I can't see the whole screen. Now I can see. Yes.
you can see it?
This one I already shared. So next slide. Yeah.
This one?
Yes. Thank you.
I'll scroll down as you talk.
Yes. So as we know that in Indian Constitution now, and how does we can compare with the UDHR? So the first important right which is there in the UDHR and which also resembles with what we have in India as well is right to equality, which UDHR has Article 1 and 7, which says all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights and equal protection under the law. I think this is the similar way when we talking about Indian Constitution, where it says as we say, Article 14 to 18, which guarantees equality before the law, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, and abolishes untouchability. So I think it's so important to understand that uh, globally as well, there are discrimination which is also related to race. I think race is one of the major important aspect of discrimination globally. And there are also issues of indigenous community. If you see globally, they stand the largest population in the world. Apart from that, we also know that when there are people who are discriminated because of their descent, because of their origin, and this is also included within the Indian Constitution framework. So how important it is to understand that UDHR equally address the issue of inequality and how it represents the communities who have been historically marginalized and discrimination because of the social identity. So Article 1 and 7 of UDHR talks about right to equality. Next slide, sir. Yeah. This is about right to life and liberty. As UDHR Article 3 says, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. I think it's very important to understand, and we do know that in India, our Indian Constitution, it talks about Article 21, which says protection of life and personal liberty. No person shall be deprived of life or liberty except according to procedure established by law. And we have been those who are in activism, those who are legal practitioners, those who are lawyers, they have been using this Article 21 quite prominently within the India's legal framework, representing it into the higher courts, whether it is High Court or Supreme Court. And I think this is very important to understand that UN itself also has also talks about right to life, liberty, and security of a person. And as we know that there are a lot of conflicts, there are a lot of wars which happen between countries, and where they also take action into it. But it does we do understand that life itself is something very crucial, and existence of human being to live with dignity also means you should live your life as a human being. And I think this is so important to understand. Yeah, Shivli. Freedom of expression and religion. I think this is so important. As we all know, how does UDHR sees Article 18, 19, and 20, which talks about right to freedom of thought, conscience, religion, opinion, expression, and peaceful assembly, which is quite very much similar to our Indian Constitution's Article 19 and also 25, which talks about guaranteeing freedom of speech and expression, of assembly, of association, of movement, of deciding, and profession. I think it's so important to understand that how these two UDHR and Indian Constitution, there's so much similarity, and many times I will also discuss it at the end, that how we as activists sometimes we are so much focused for about our own country and our own institution, our own constitution, our own legal framework, that we sometimes do not understand that we need to have a global perspective in terms of when we are talking about defending the rights of those with whom we are working at the ground. So it's very important to understand that how does if our any rights is violated, we go to High Court or Supreme Court, but there is also a possibility to also represent our issues at the international fora, and which means representing it in the United Nations. Yeah, Fibli. Now it's right to education, right? So UDHR Article 26 says everyone has the right to education. And our Indian Constitution, Article 21A, says free and compulsory education for children aged 6 to 14. As you all know, the Right to Education Act also came up through this, right? Although it came up the UDHR has already given it in their own article, and because it is a global intervention for all the countries. So we also have to see how it is important to understand when we talk about education as a right, and as we say, as marginalized communities, and when we talk about constitution, we also have to understand if we have the right to education, then only we can defend our rights, and then only we can ensure that the constitution is being given that importance, and there is rule of law and rule of constitution. So free and compulsory education for children between 6 to 14, which is there in our constitution, is equally relevant and important vis-a-vis UDHR. Yes, Shivli. Protection from torture. Now this is very important, right, where Article 5 of UDHR says no one shall be subjected to torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment. And Indian Constitution, again, when we're talking about right to life, it interprets by code to include protection against torture and custodial violence under the right to life. We do understand that India has not ratified the Convention on Torture, and that is one challenge we as activists are also facing in our own country. And there have been a lot of custodial deaths. There have been a lot of cases where the prisoners have died suspiciously in the prisons in the context of India, and most of them are from the marginalized communities. They are either scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, or other backward caste, and even Muslims. So I think this is something, or the religious minority. So it's very important to understand how do we see when we're talking about torture, because torture itself, there is no, as we see in India also, we don't have any particular law to address the issue of torture, because it is included within now with the new law which has come up of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. But in terms of understanding that importance is that the UDHR itself has addressed this issue of torture, inhuman treatment, and also cruelty towards human beings. So it talks about that nobody is allowed to do that, and I think this is something very serious matter. And as we see that situation is changing rapidly across the world and in our country, and it's very important, high time that we discuss about this issue globally as well as within our own country. Thank you, Shivli. Thanks. Next. Yeah. Right to constitutional remedy. Now, this is equally important. UDHR Article 8 says right to an effective remedy by competent national tribunals, right? And our constitution says Article 32 and 226, which provides the right to constitutional remedies. Individuals can move the Supreme Courts or High Courts to enforce fundamental rights. There have been a lot of important cases as well where our survivors or victims have also represented their issues at the Supreme Court or High Court level, and for a remedy for something where when there is, specifically when we are talking about acquittal, when we are talking about lack of justice in the trial courts. And I think this is very important that looking at High Courts and Supreme Courts as somewhere where you can ensure that there is a constitutional remedy when your rights are violated, when your fundamental rights have been questioned, and when you are seeking justice and you're not able to access justice. So it's so important to understand that Article 8 of UDHR and Article 32 and 226 of Indian constitutions are so much relevant in the context of somebody whose rights are being violated, and how do they manifest their own right in terms of representing in the higher courts. Yeah, Shivli. Protection from arbitrary arrest. I think this is equally important. As we all know, there are laws in India. There are laws where we talk about that nobody can arrest someone without a warrant or something like that. But we also know that there are certain crimes where or there are suspicious acts which happen, and sometimes the person even doesn't know that he or she has committed any crime, and they are subjected to arbitrary arrest. And I think Article 9 of UDHR says that no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. And Indian Constitution, it says in Article 22, protection against arbitrary arrest and detention, rights of the arrested persons. And we all know that what's happening in the context of when you are building your own awareness, when you are representing your issues, when you're demanding rights, when you are addressing issues of impunity, there are issues of human rights activists, defenders whose rights might get they feel very fragile, and they sometimes also are into the threat of being arrested, or or there is a detention. So I think this is something, why I'm explaining this to you is also to see that that you have to have a broader lens in terms of protecting your rights and rights of your own communities when they are being threatened. Yeah, next, Shivli. Right to participate in government. I think this is talking about elections. It's talking about right to vote. And Article 21 says right to take part in the government directly or through freely chosen representatives. And our Indian Constitution, it talks about Article 325 and 326, which guarantees universal adult suffrage and the right to participate in the democratic process. And I think this is something, being a democratic country, a democratic society, and where you have the power of vote, I think sometimes, and being the largest populated country in the world, sometimes the Indian citizens don't take this right very seriously. And I think this is highly crucial, specifically for the marginalized communities, for the minorities, and women as well, or other diverse gender people, that we have to see whom we are voting very sensibly. And because we talk about secret voting, we are talking about right to choice. I think something which is so important and integral, that we have the right to decide uh, to whom we should give vote and who will represent our issues in the assemblies or in the parliament. And I think this is so crucial that UDHR itself has also talked about it. Yeah, right to work and fair conditions. We all know there are lots and lots of issues, specifically when we are talking about the rights of marginalized communities. The UDHR's Article 23 and 24, it talks about right to work, free choice of employment, just and favorable conditions. And I think this is very important to understand equally, because as you see, there's a lot of migration happening within the state, within the country, and globally as well. And like India has the largest population which migrates globally. So I think it's a big population. If you see, I think there are around 70 lakhs, 700 million people who 70 lakh people who have migrated from India. And every year there is a huge population of Indians who are migrating. Now, most of them are not white collar job workers. There are a lot of them are blue collar job persons as well. So when you have a UDHR, when you have these Articles 23 and 24, we are talking about a right to work for them as well. There are a lot of Indians who are in the Middle East. There are a lot of Indians also in the so-called developed countries. And I think we are talking about right to work, free choice of employment, just and favorable condition. But within our own country, where we have the Constitution, we have directive principles and articles in 39, 41, and 43, which promotes policies for equal pay for equal work. And we all know that it's not happening. There is for equal work, there is no equal pay. We all know that women are being paid lesser than men. And there are also a lot of gender issues when we're talking about work. The right to work, majority of the marginalized communities, specifically women from the marginalized communities, they are into those kind of work which is inhuman as well, which does not have just conditions. There are a lot of unpaid work as well. And there is also free labor. There is also forced labor. So I think these are some issues we need to understand. And because UDHR itself talks about right to work, but what kind of right to work we are talking about? We are not just talking about work. We are talking about dignified work. We are talking about of equal pay for equal work. And I think this is so important to understand, that Every human being, if he or she is existing in this world, needs to have a dignified life, which includes right to work and equal pay for equal work. Yeah. Right to property. Now, this is equally very important to understand. The UDHR Article 17 says right to own property alone as well as in association with others, right? And Indian Constitution, Article 300A says no person shall be deprived of property save by authority of law, though it is not a fundamental right anymore. Now it is not a fundamental right. So the point is, we have to understand that when we're talking about right to property, we are also talking about ownership. We are talking about mm, your holding assets and holding power, because ultimately, um, when we're talking about right to property, we are talking about right to owning property is also, we are focusing on the laws which are there, which there's law of inheritance. We are talking about other laws which gives a right to women as such now. Although there are a lot of challenges when they address the issue of right to property, but these are some articles which I have shared, and this is what I found, which are common and similar between the Constitution of India and the UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So Shivli, we can stop the PPT. Now I would like to just talk about that. How does the UDHR impacts the people's rights globally? I think it's very important to understand, because when we are talking about Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we are talking about it foundations for national laws and constitutions, right? So each of the country in the world has its own constitution, it has national laws. And it is also talking about guiding international treaties and conventions. I think that's very important, because Universal Declaration of Human Rights laid the groundwork for legally binding human rights treaties. And as we know, there are a lot of treaties which are there, which such as civil and political rights, which is called International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. We also have International Convention on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. We have a Committee for Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, and this year India's review would be done on CEDAW. Then we have International Committee on Rights of the Child, and then we have Committee Against Torture, which where we are not ratified, I said before. So there's tool for it also talks. So when we are talking about UDHR, we are talking about tool. It's a tool for accountability and justice, right? So activists and survivors or victims use the UDHR as a moral tool to demand justice, specifically in authoritarian regimes or during conflict. We know, like views, you can see what's happening in Gaza and the war between the Palestine and the Israel, and I think there is an intervention by the UN, but it's still, I think there's a lot of things need to be done still now. The international courts and bodies refer to it to interpret human rights standards. We also know that India has not also signed the treaty with the International Criminal Court. So our cases cannot be tried in the International Court of Justice. So that's a challenge which we are facing. Empowerment of marginalized community. I think it is very important to understand. So, because the UDHR serves as a universal language of rights, empowering women, Dalits, indigenous peoples, persons with disabilities, LGBTQ plus communities, and others to claim their dignity and equality. It also gives inspiration for global human rights movements, because UDHR principles have inspired movements like the civil rights movement in the US, the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa, and pro-democracy protests around the world. So it's also important to understand that UDHR is seen as a tool for human rights education. So it should be widely used in schools, universities, and public campaigns. And I don't know how much it has been included within the curriculum in the schools or in the universities as well, to raise awareness about human rights values and duties. So at the moment, if we see the UN, it has member states which are 193 countries, and it has 2 observer states. So total countries who have been recognized at the United Nations is 195. Now, what about our own Indian constitution? We as activists, we all know that majority of the grassroots activists, they have some knowledge about the Indian constitution, but we still have to see that how it is imbibed into the training modules within the Indian civil rights activists, specifically from who are from the marginalized communities. And I think that's what Wave Foundation is also trying to do, is to impart knowledge and skills around the Indian Constitution and the fundamental rights and the other aspects related to the Constitution of India. Because it's very important that if we understand the Indian Constitution, it empowers us and it builds our own understanding to and know knowledge about rights, and we can use this as a tool to demand accountability. And understanding Indian constitution also builds collective awareness and mobilization. And as we know that there are several issues impacting the rights of marginalized community, whether it is the issue of manual scavenging, land displacement, custodial violence, caste atrocities, gender-based violence, issues of violence against gender diverse communities, and several other issues are also there. And a knowledge of the Constitution also strengthens democratic participation. It promotes unity in diversity. It protects the marginalized communities, as the Constitution itself debates around and discuss and strongly address the issue of affirmative action, as we know, and also the entire framework of social justice. And the Constitution helps challenge systemic exclusion through legal and political tools. So, and it also guides civic education and builds leadership, strengthen leadership. And as Shivli was talking about the work Wave Foundation is doing, we are also empowering youth, social workers, activists, as as we believe that understanding constitution also contributes and provides a framework to lead with constitutional values. It encourages ethical activism, non-violent resistance, and human rights based work. So I would say that to finish my presentation, I will say that if you don't know the constitution, your rights can be taken away silently. And we all know that when certain specific communities in the country, when their rights are being violated, they basically then they realize that how important is the Indian constitution. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yes,
Hello.
madam.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I can't see myself because of all this. Yeah. So I just want to say that I want to end by saying that it's so important and significant that we build our knowledge and understanding on this very important aspect of reclaiming and claiming our fundamental rights. And I think using Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a framework and using the Indian Constitution, building bridges around these two important tool for assertion, for empowerment, will also build the knowledge of the communities who have been historically been discriminated for such a long time. And I think we need to work on those aspects. And I think that's why I wanted to make this presentation, for us to understand that we are global citizens of this world. We are not just citizens of India. So it's our right to address our issues at the international forum and in the United Nations. And knowledge building on the UDHR, on the United Nations framework and the international law is equally important when we are also defending our rights through the Constitution of India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manjula, for a very in-depth understanding of how the UDHR connects with our constitution, and also reminding us about the need to understand our constitution much, much more in-depth and better, using it as an instrument for justice and using it as an instrument for advocating and fighting for our rights. It's very important to locate what are our rights. And often we don't ask these questions because we become very complacent, or we are not really seeing the international linkages to our own constitutional moralities. That's very important, because it's world over that we need to understand that human rights framework draws from the UDHR. All the conventions that are there draw from the UDHR, and our own constitution draws from the UDHR, and vice versa. So It's a very powerful constitution. So it's very important that we keep going back to it and
Yes.
seeing how our rights are located and demanding for our rights and justice. So thank you so much, Manjula. I open the session for any questions, any comments. So friends, दोस्तों, आप लोग सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं? Do you want to ask any question? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Manjula. Thank you very much. I think your presentation is a new door open to our viewers and our colleagues.
Thank you.
Comparison with the UDHR and Indian Constitution, I think it should be needed nowadays, today situation. We have to understand the world scenario, world rights, and all those things. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, I request to all our friends to ask any questions.
Uh, I just also want to add, Lakshmaya ji and Shivli and other friends that of atrocities, including murders, rapes, and mass attacks, or displacement, or social boycott, and everything in my own state as well, and police atrocities, killings. What happens is that Mm, we all know that the implementation of SC/ST-PO Act is in a very difficult stage. As we know that the national NCRB data says that only 25% conviction is there. Now, when we are talking about when these incidents happen, even I, as an activist, at that time I was not having that knowledge that yes, there is a door to also raise this issue at the United Nations, right? So there are special rapporteurs, consent of the complainant. We can write, and there is a mechanism. There is a specific draft which you can use to take up the cases or issues to the UN special rapporteurs or the UN treaty bodies. And we are not using it properly, and that is something very sad. And the marginalized communities need to understand that. But that it's so important, so relevant that majority of us even not using the constitution as a tool for assertion, as tool to raise our issues, and I think that is something also, which means that our community needs to have more knowledge. We have so many activists. We celebrate 14th April. We do so many celebrations on 26th November, right? So that's not enough. I think we are in a situation that there is so much awareness building, specifically amongst the Dalit communities. Where are we going? Where are we reaching to? What is our aim? Are our people living in peace? Is there justice for them? Is there a solidarity for their issues? We all know what is happening, right? Shivli and Lakshmaya ji and other friends. So it's so important. There are so many important people who are part of this, my presentation, who are here and who are doing great work in their own states and also nationally and internationally. So I think it's also brings into that point of discussion, Lakshmaya ji, also, is that how do we create our own conscience, our own solidarity and a unity around using these two tools together and making our issues more stronger and visible globally as well. Nationally, we have been able to do, but I think globally, it's not just inclusion of caste within the UN agenda. That's not our struggle. I think we need to use it more effectively. Then only caste will be included in the UN agenda, because it is like from 2000 to now we are 25 years of the World Conference Against Racism. Where are we? What are our milestones? I think we need to think around that also. Are we really able to make the UN mechanism sensitive towards caste issue? Yes, we have. But has it turned into something like there is a convention for the indigenous communities? We don't have. So I think where do we, and that's not the end point. The point is that how does UN come down to the ground in India, where our people who are suffering, their lives are little better than what their ancestors' lives or their forefathers' lives, which I think we need to create a strategy. on this. This is so important that we need to build our institutions to, and we have such genuine organizations like Center for Dalit Studies is one of very important organization in the country. How do we make use of so many important institutions, organizations, civil society, networks, all should be part of this process. And I think this is so important. This just came in my mind when I was asked by Lakshmi Ji what I would like to speak. So for me, this is at the moment very important point which I wanted to present.
Thank you, Manjula. I think we had started some journey in Delhi, I think last month, March. Then we have to sit and another time to discuss the things. I think the action plan for whatever we are already we crossed the issues and we are entering the new arena and new situation also. Yes, definitely your concern is a very appreciated. It's not a simple issue we have to do. Then I think this all those lectures and discussions will leads to new journey. I hope. I think
Yes.
I'm a had a definitely very hope to do in the future. इसमें कुछ नहीं है बताने के लिए हम करना है जरूर हम इसलिए कुछ तो कुछ एक बार brainstorming session in physical level we have to do. Then whatever time we can
Absolutely.
discuss and decide. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kumarji. Please moderate.
Thank you. Yeah. Are we closing the session?
Is
Or are
anyone
there questions?
Please ask the question. Please ask the questions.
Yeah.
I have one small question. First of all, your this PowerPoint was really very eye-opening because for the first time I had seen that comparison between Indian Constitution and the Human Rights Constitution. It was a really eye-opener for me. We would like that you should share that presentation with us. Secondly, you have referred that India has yet to sign some.
Mahendra Kumarji, please introduce yourself. That will be useful to others also.
Oh,
If
sir.
anybody wants to speak, please introduce yourself first, then ask a
I am
question.
Mahendra Kumar Anand from Jaipur. I am a retired banker. And now I am with the PUCL and some local AJAC is there for Employees Association. I am attached with them. And I came into contact with Lakshmi Aji on the 26th January on the 75th. Thereafter, I am in regular touch. So my question is, you referred that India has yet to ratify some
convention, the treaty on
conventions.
torture.
You mentioned about two, I think. One is about
Torture and
torture.
International Court of Justice. Yes.
So they have not yet ratified ICJ, but they were having their own judges. Nagendra Singh was there, and more. They have not ratified.
Yes, if you see, none of the important cases, I don't know because it is also on YouTube. So it's also
Till now, we were under the impression that all countries are very independent, so they can't go to UN. Some people say like this. Now today you have advised a new thing. He can approach the international organizations.
we can't. No, we can approach the UN, but International Court of Justice, which is in Hague, in
Because
Netherlands.
it has not been ratified. That is the
India cannot. Yeah, India doesn't want.
And what is the progress in that?
That's why
caste being included as a. How do you see in future when it is likely to take place? After Durban, nothing has happened.
Yeah, you are absolutely right because in 2010 there was review of Durban conference and I wasn't present in that, but there was because in the World Conference Against Racism in 2001, they have set aside para 73 of the official declaration of the World Conference where it mentioned about caste. So where I think what it comes out that there was a debate between inclusion of caste within the UN framework. So that paragraph 73 has been set aside. So there was some but what happened was there is a UN guidance tool where I was also involved, and many of other activists like NC Paul and others are also part of it, Vincent Manoharan and others. So there is a UN guidance tool. Again, unfortunately, none of us are using it very effectively because we had a discussion on it. I think it was in 2015. Something around.
Manjula, you're breaking up.
Oh, actually, we are under
And
the
we-
impression that the government of India, it's taking,
Geneva
it's not, it's
when we had a
Manjula,
presentation
you
on
are
the
breaking up.
guidance
Can you check
tool.
your
It's
internet?
called
She can't hear me.
on
I think the government of India stand itself is against inclusion of caste as a sort
Well,
of
stop the
discrimination.
video. Only audio. Continue audio. Stop the video. Anjula madam, stop the video. Continue with the audio.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Now that's better. Why don't you put off your video and then speak, because in between your voice is breaking. So we are kind of losing. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Mahendra bhai, the point is that we had this guidance tool, which is for I can share it that also in the group if you want,
Okay.
which basically is for the UN agencies who are there in each of the country, right? Wherever there is discrimination based on work and descent. So UN has taken a new terminology. Instead of putting caste-based discrimination, they have taken it as discrimination based on work and descent. तो काम और वंश के आधार पे भेदभाव के ऊपर
No,
किया।
sometimes we are under the impression that our government itself doesn't want caste to be included.
That's true, no? That's what I'm saying, because I have been raising the like I have been doing the lobbying work in the UN since 2001. We do know that, but it is our right. That's what I'm saying. And if the point is what I'm saying, the guidance tool is for the UN agencies. So in India, like we have UNDP, or you have UN Women or any other UN agency, they have to follow this guidance tool. So whether they are following it up or not, we are not doing the monitoring work. The activists or the social workers or the civil society organization are not doing the monitoring, and that's why the UN mechanism in our own country doesn't take the issues of caste or based violations, human rights violations seriously. I would say that.
Thank
Have you heard any UN person openly talking about caste
Never.
within our own? No one.
Never.
Yes,
Never.
that's the thing. Yes. So we have to
अच्छा,
work on.
लक्ष्मी सर, आप पीपीटी ले लेना, हमें भेज देना सर।
मैंने भेज दिया एक
Okay.
वो जो भाई हैं उनको, he
Okay,
already
okay,
has.
okay. ठीक है, thank you, thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments?
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes. Somebody was
Mr. Daroch
speaking.
wants, I think, Mr.
Yeah.
Daroch wanted to say, Mr. Daroch.
Yeah. I thought he was saying something. Anyone else wants to ask any questions? सवाल है कोई?
ठीक है, then we can.
नहीं नहीं है नहीं
नहीं
Okay.
है?
नहीं है जी
सतीश कुछ तो बोलो यार।
तो फिर कंप्लेंट तो फिर कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स करना पड़ेगा
thank
Thank
you,
you so
thank you
much.
so much, ma'am. Hello, I am Ibrana Nas from Patna, Bihar.
Yes, Ibrana.
Hi, Ibrana.
Go ahead.
You are my student, yes.
Yes, ma'am. And whenever we heard you something, you always taught us something new. And today UDHR in comparison with Indian Constitution, it give us new views of thinking about our constitutions and how we came to the how we think about our justice and in the perspective of global views. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this and for organizing such type of programs. It will give us more opportunity to learn more about our constitutions. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, Ibrana. Thank you for attending this session. Thank you.
Okay.
ठीक है.
Lakshmiya ji, would you like to do the honors of closing the session?
Thank you.
Babita is saying something. Sorry, Babita. Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry, Lakshmiya ji. My another participant, Babita, wants to say something. He has
Please, please.
Babita,
Babita, please. बात कर लीजिए.
बबीता आपने हैंड रेस किया है बेटा, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
हेलो.
हाँ,
हेलो.
अब ठीक है. अब ठीक है.
हाँ.
हाँ.
जी. हाँ, नमस्कार सभी को. मैं दिल्ली से हूँ. मेरा नाम बबीता है और मैंने आधे पे से सुना तो बहुत कुछ समझ में आया और बहुत कुछ रह गया. मैंने 7:30 पे ज्वाइन किया था तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कंपैरिजन देख के अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का और तो UDHR के बारे में जो आपने बताया के बारे में. तो पहली बार ही मैंने भी सुना तो एक नई जानकारी थोड़ी सी कुछ, लेकिन हाँ जानकारी कुछ मिली मुझे तो काफी अच्छा लगा मंजुला दीदी का सेशन सुनकर. थैंक यू दी.
थैंक यू बबीता जी. लक्ष्मैया जी, we finish it. Yeah.
Thank you, Manjula ji. Thank you, Shil Kumar ji and other friends who have attended this meeting. I think Manjula ji, these lectures we are going to publish also. I think
Okay.
whichever time is better to please draft send your speech. You can add
Okay.
something also, whatever you miss here. You can add the things also. It's not a issue. It's not a issue of the pages. Please send things. Second thing is you have to block your date in 26 January. We are going to organize the scholars meeting and other participants whoever attend to this meeting, one conclave of Indian Constitution scholars like that.
Okay.
With the 75 lectures, whoever they gave the lectures, we are thinking to invite all the people on that day in Hyderabad. Third thing is this lecture will be put in YouTube in short time. These three things I want to tell you. I thanks to all. Thank you very much, Manjula ji. Within short span of time, you honor me and honor us and give a lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Malapali ji, Lakshmaya ji. I'm so it's a fortunate day for me as well to be part of this important process which you have undertaken, and I think it's important and crucial for all of us to be involved in important initiatives and be part of a solidarity processes around our for our constitution and for for solidarity. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you to all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shivli. So thank you.
Oh, welcome. Yeah, always.
Thank you,
Bye bye.
Manjula ji. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Bye.